Guys, really quick. You know that we've been talking about starting your digital business journey along with me as well. But what I am finding is that people are lost, confused, or too many things. You've been asking the wrong questions, and believe it or not, your chaos has a pattern, and that pattern, that's your power. In order for you to unlock your creative identity, you need to take the creative identity quiz. It takes less than a minute and it's free. Scan the QR code or click on the link in the description box below. Now, let's get into the video.
Okay, have you ever felt like you're being pulled in a dozen different directions? You're constantly wondering what your one true calling is supposed to be? Well, today we're going to dive into a pretty big idea that says, maybe, just maybe, we've all been asking the wrong question. Let's get into it. Right off the bat, I really want you to hear this. If you are juggling a ton of different interests, if you feel like you just haven't found your thing yet, you are not lost. And that feeling? That feeling of being really into writing and also design and maybe coding and, I don't know, urban gardening? Yeah, that's not confusion. And you are definitely not too many things. Look, society loves putting people into neat little boxes, right? But what if your greatest strength is the very fact that you don't fit into just one? This brings us right to what some people call the passion problem. It's this immense pressure to find and then dedicate your entire life to a single passion. Sure, it sounds romantic, but for so many of us, it just ends up causing anxiety and this nagging feeling that we're somehow failing. So the core idea we're digging into today is that this whole approach is built on a shaky foundation. We're asking the wrong question. And because of that, a lot of the common advice we get might actually be the very thing that's keeping us stuck. So here it is, the central command. It's bold, it's kind of counterintuitive, but here's the advice. Stop searching for your passion. Seriously, just stop. Okay, so if what's my passion is the wrong question, then why? And what's the right one? Well, to answer that, we have to start looking at all our interests in a completely different light. The answer, it turns out, lies in a total paradigm shift. Instead of seeing all your varied interests as just random chaos, we need to start looking for the pattern inside that chaos. Because believe me, there is one. This right here, this is a complete reframing of the whole problem. That collection of things you're drawn to, it isn't a mess, it's a map. And learning how to read that map, understanding that pattern, that is the key to unlocking your unique power. And this pattern, it has a name, your creative identity. See, this isn't about finding a single job title. It's about understanding the fundamental why behind everything you do. It's the hidden thread that connects your love of organizing spreadsheets with your knack for planning the perfect party. It shows you what you are fundamentally built to create. So let's compare these two. The passion mindset is all about hunting for that one thing. And what does that usually lead to? Pressure, confusion, and frankly, not doing much of anything. But the identity mindset, that's about understanding your pattern. It doesn't give you an endpoint. What it gives you is clarity, power, and a real tangible starting point. So what does one of these identities actually look like in the real world? Let's go through a few examples to make this whole thing a little more concrete. And hey, see if any of these start to sound familiar. So maybe you're an aesthetic curator, someone who just lives to create beauty and feeling. Or you could be a digital architect, building amazing things online. Maybe you're a story crafter, an innovator, or a systems creator. These aren't just labels you see, they describe a deep core drive. Let's zoom in a bit to see how this works. A story crafter, for example, is driven by narrative and connection. So what do they create? Stories, content, brands. Makes sense, right? A systems creator is driven by order and efficiency, so they naturally build things like businesses, processes, and workflows. You see the connection? The drive informs what gets created. All right, this is really the crucial point. Understanding your creative identity is not about finding a new box to cram yourself into. It's actually the exact opposite. It's about getting you out of that paralyzing box of, I don't know what to do. This is probably the most powerful takeaway of all. Knowing you're a systems creator doesn't tell you what your life's work is. No, it tells you that you should start by building a system, any system. It gives you a direction to start moving. It gives you a starting line for the race. So your new approach is actually beautifully simple. Step 1, stop guessing. Stop trying to figure out what your one true passion is in your head. And step 2, start building. Start doing things that align with your underlying creative pattern, because action is what creates clarity. And that really brings us to the end here. Your unique pattern, your chaos, your power, it's all right there, just waiting for you to decode it. So the only question left is, now that you have a clue about what you're built for, what are you going to build first?
Guys, thank you so much for watching the previous video from my assistant. And the last question he asked was, what are you going to build first? And I know you're stuck. You're not lost. You're not confused. You're just searching for the wrong thing. Okay? You're asking yourself the wrong questions. Again, your chaos has a pattern, and your pattern is your power. Can you imagine that you might be a aesthetic creator or a digital architect, a story crafter, an innovator, a systems creator, but you have no idea because you're not sure? Again, discover what you're built to create. In 60 seconds, this free quiz will show you exactly what your creative identity is. Before you get started with your digital journey, I want to make sure, guys, that you are feeling like you are doing something that you're going to enjoy, something that you are familiar with, something that brings you joy, that gets you excited about getting up in the morning. Not necessarily a passion, but maybe like a drive or a mission of some sort. Okay? It doesn't just give you a label, it's going to give you a starting line. So stop guessing. Let's start building. Go ahead, take the quiz, scan the QR code, or check the link in the description box below. I'll see you guys on the next video, and thank you for watching. Bye.